Hi, welcome to Money, Sex, Power. We are learning success from the greatest success book which was ever written 3000 years before by King Solomon. You grab a copy and you be with us in the same page. Today is day 3, chapter 3, verse 1. My son, do not forget my command and keep my teachings in your heart. Now, here it is very similar to what we read yesterday. My son, receive my words and treasure up my commandments within you. It is the same thing, my son. That means you need to have a father. One of the greatest wealth you can have is to have a father. To have a father is to have your wealth which God has released for every mankind. Sometimes it so happens we don't have our fathers. Sometimes fathers are very distant and they are not approachable. Sometimes they pass away from this earth. Whatever it may be, you cannot be deprived of a father. So it is your duty to find a father. Now, finding a father is one of the greatest duties of a man. It is as important as you get married. Today, many of us, we want to get married, but where is your father? Now, many sons and many daughters, they come for marriage. They say they are ready for marriage. If I ask them, where is your father? He says, I don't have a father. I'll tell you, before you have your wife or your husband, you need to have a father. Because your father need to play a role in your marriage. My friends, there are 3 kinds of fathers which I told you yesterday. Now, assuming that you understand everything about fatherhood, I go ahead with this word which says, do not forget my command and keep my teachings in your heart. Now here it says, do not forget my command. That means it is very simple to forget it. The truth is this, usually we forget the good things, the right things which we should never forget. But we remember all the bad things which ever happened to you. Every man is just a lump of his past. From his face, you can understand how much problem he has come through. I'll tell you, everything is shown in the face because man has a habit, that's a bad habit, of reacting to all the bad things of life. That's why many of our prayer life is just a shopping list. Our prayers are never a thank you list. We never want to thank God for what He has already given us. We have everything to ask God for something which we already want. That's the prayer. My friend, that's why it says, forget not my command. Do not forget my command. Now, how not to forget? How not to forget? First and foremost, you have to remind yourself. You need to keep reminder everywhere, which will remind you of the commandment of God. See, if God has commanded you something, it need to be reminded. Now, my father has told me 2 principles of finance. Now, I have put this everywhere. Above my accounts, I write these 2 principles. Okay? Now, this is just a reminder of what he taught to me. He has taught me 2 things about finance. See, let me tell you one thing. You cannot forget. If I forget that, probably I may become poor. That's why I don't want to forget the financial principle he has taught me. The truth is, we will forget if we don't make a jabardast attempt to remind ourselves of it. We need to make a deliberate attempt to remind us that command of our fathers. Now, these commands have an ability to preserve you. Yesterday I was telling you, this has an ability to have a security around you, to keep you safe, protected. Today what this does, I will teach you once more. So you have to make reminder. You have to remind yourself. You need to write it down. You need to write it and post it on the walls. You should write on the walls. You should write on the notebook. You should write on your computer screens. Your desktop should be full of commands of your daddy so that you don't forget it. The second thing is, keep my teachings. How to keep it? How to store it? Sometimes if I ask you what your dad said before his death, I don't remember. My dad passed away after 25 years. Sir, some people said, I don't remember anything what he said. Hey, why you don't remember what he said? From your childhood he has taught you. How can you say I don't remember? Because these are the things, the golden nuggets which will help you to become rich and which will help you to become influential and healthy and become a ruler of this city. Please understand, your father's command, don't take it for granted. That's why whatever God tells you, you need to see. For example, a good example is in the Jewish religion, there was a man called Abraham. Now God told him one sentence. Now this guy was saying the same sentence for 25 years. It's awesome. It's awesome. How can you say a sentence for 25 years? It's too much. Today we want every day one new promises of God. I tell you, this man was hanging on to that one promise for 25 years. That's why, these commands are really important. I told you, my father gave me 2 commands about money, which I keep it as a supreme 2 principle. I will read it again. My son, do not forget my command and keep my teachings in your heart. How to keep? Keep means to store. I'll tell you, you have to write it down. I have notebooks after notebooks where I wrote when my fathers were speaking. You have to store it. You have to write it. You have to store it. And today there are modern ways of storing. You can store a soft copy. You can store in the Google Drive. Okay, you can store in the iCloud. What a facility we have. When you write it, you can store it. You can store it and you can give it back to people who need it. I'll tell you, today there are modern devices to store it. Today we can write it down and store it so that we don't forget those things. What my dad told me, don't forget. What my mom told me, don't forget. What my spiritual father, my guru, my physical father, my earthly father, my father in ministry, my father in righteousness. Like that, there are many fathers I have, my father-in-law, whatever. You have to write it down. I have written down so many things my father-in-law taught me. He was a wise man. My friends, please understand this. These are success principles. Do not forget your father's command and keep his teachings in your heart, for they will add to you many days and years of life and peace. It will add to you many days. As you do these things today, your tomorrows are more secure. Your tomorrows are more safe. May the Lord bless you as you have listened to these words. May these words become foundations of your life, and may these words bring blessing. Thank you very much for joining with us. Tomorrow we'll join at the same time. God bless you.